to commune with you all, I guess. I'm feeling unsure today about videoing. But I am back to podcast. It is a Saturday morning, like mid-Saturday morning. And yeah, so last time I videoed, it was right before Georgia Fiber Fest. And we were talking about hats for veterans and podcast meetup. Well, when this Saturday came, the podcast meetup was canceled because of Hurricane Irma. There was a lot of people, evacuees, coming like to Georgia and other states, and so the traffic was not good, and then the oncoming like bad weather was coming. So the podcast meetup was canceled. The people that were already there were saying that it was hard to get home from the Fiber Fest, as well as a lot of traffic on the highway, and apparently there wasn't a big turnout this year because of all of those issues like into one. So there was no podcast meetup. We are trying to plan another meetup, but to my knowledge, I didn't know of any other podcasters. So through that, I met a few podcasters that are pretty close to me, and I was excited to hear about that. So, and furthermore, I didn't know there was a lot of podcasters in Georgia. You know, I feel like I was like one of the only lone wolves, but I am not alone, y'all. But I did catch up on some knitting. I have 2 finished objects and 1 work in progress, and a product that I would like to do, so I guess I'll get into that. You all know the formalities. I don't think I should say them anymore. You know where to catch me, you know where to find me, and please spread the love. So first things first, the hat that I made, I cast it on actually the day of the Georgia Fiber Fest, with this being my travel project. And guess what? I was all dressed. I was all ready to go. I had my bags, my camera, everything ready to leave. And we were getting ready to head out the door to the Fiber Fest. And I had that little voice in my head say, check your phone. So I checked my phone, and guess what? It's canceled. So I was lucky, because I would have been upset if I was riding down the road, stuck on the highway, and thinking I'm going to the Fiber Fest and nobody's there. But yes, luckily it canceled, and guess what? I was kind of disappointed, but in my disappointment, I made my hat, and I finished it the same day, because, you know, to me a hat is not a hard project. And I used my yarn that I showed you all earlier that I had bought for my husband, and he decided he didn't want this particular yarn for his hat, but it was the yarn that I found at Hobby Lobby. It was Yarn Bee Fair Isle. It is the red blue multi 2 color, and it basically knits up like Fair Isle. So it's a basic hat pattern. There isn't a pattern that I really followed. I just cast it on a number of stitches. I forget the amount now that I'm thinking about it, and just knitted and decreased. So this is my hat, and I did have about this much left over. It's probably enough to make another hat, and that is my plans with the rest of this yarn, is to make another hat. And this hat was supposed to go to Karyn for SSK Yarners. It still is, and hopefully I'll have 2 hats to send to her and help with the hats for veterans. So that is my first finished object. My second finished object is my Makariri shawl. I'm calling this my mistake Makariri shawl because I totally did not follow the pattern as said, and I ended up with this, but it's a lovely shawl. I'm going to show you. So I do have to weave in ends, and if you remember, I was using my Knit Picks palette, and it started off in the white and went to Lichen, back to white, into I think my Spruce colorway, This is Patton's Croy Cascade Colors, and into my white again. I'm pleased with it. It didn't turn out, so I may have to do a Makariri shawl revisited with some different yarn, and this time a better focus, because my ADD brain was not having it for some reason. And this is my progress. I'm pleased with my progress. It turned out well. It has some coverage, but it has this long tail, so when I put it on, I have this long tail, and I don't know if I like that. But I'm starting to, you know, grow a like for this shawl. I have yet to weave in my ends and block it, but that's coming real soon. And I was talking to my sister about it, because she was like, what do you mean you got a mistake in it? And I told her, and she knows the type of knitter I am. I'm very kind of OCD, like perfectionist. And so she was like, I know you're gonna rip it back. And I was like, for the life of me, I would not rip it back. And she was like, yes you is, you're gonna rip it back. And I'm like, not this time. And she was like, I don't believe you. I guess I'll get back with you when you done rip back all the way down and start over. And I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. So I proved her wrong in not ripping it back and casting off. And she was like, wow, I can't believe you. You are growing. So that's my two finished objects. It was the Makariri shawl and my Fair Owl. My Fair Owl hat, I use, I forgot to tell you, I use my size 6 and size 7 knitting needles. And the knitting needles I used were actually Chinese. I don't know if you all have ever heard of an app called Wish. I want to try out Wish and see. I bought a few items, and that's why I was telling you about the product. So I'll tell you about that in a bit, but I use my 6 and 7 knitting needles. These are cabled. And then I use my size 7 DPNs to finish off at the crown of the hat. So that is what I use for the Fair Owl hat, those knitting needles. And with the Makariri shawl, I use my size 4 Knitter's Pride knitting needles. I went blank. Size 4, no, yes, no, 5, 6, sorry, size 6 knitting needles. Knitter's Pride. Trends. Sorry, ADD hit, brain farts, whatever you want to call it. I'm now 40. It's catching up with me, y'all. Yeah, that's another thing. I just had a recently birthday, about a week ago. So happy birthday to me. I am now a middle-aged woman. I'm no longer in my 30s. No, just joking. I am blessed to see 40 years of life. I am not ashamed of it. I am actually proud of my age. I'm not one of those women who are like, I'm 20-something. No, I'm proud of my age. So if you ever ask me my age, I would tell you proudly, because, excuse me for saying this, but I am blessed to be able to see the number of years that I have. And it is a blessing to add up, because it is wisdom that is added to your life. So I had a blessed birthday. My husband allowed me to do nothing. My children allowed me to do nothing but relax, because, you know, busy mom, always going, chaperoning, carpooling, that type of thing. And I had a nice dinner, and then my husband, you know, gave me massages and love. And then my mom, the next day, cooked me a big dinner, and I had cake and family love, and everybody sung to me, and they gave me gifts and everything. So I feel the love. But I am glad to see 40 years of life. That is awesome. That is a blessing. And thank you all for the wishes, happy birthdays, and everything like that. But I digress. So the next thing I have is my work in progress, and I have been working on this for a while, but I've gotten this far and I'm almost finished, and it'll probably be finished by next video. And this is my Fancy Me shawl, and this is out of my Loops and Thread Woolike that I got from Michael's. and it started from the black, went into the, I want to say mauve color or cranberry, and down to the black again, and back into the cranberry. Okay, this is a very nice shawl. I love the pattern, and I love Woolike because it is soft, it's not scratchy, it is lovely, and I just caress it and love it and hug it, and yeah, all of those things. So this will be about as loved as my purple and gray Soho scarf that I make, or shawl, because I use that every winter or when it gets cold since I made it. But I don't know if it's because I have gotten older, but I don't know if you all come in problem with this, but knitting with black yarn is hard if you don't have good lighting. So I'm up at like midnight, bright lights, and my husband like, I want to go to bed. I'm like, you ain't going to bed right now because I got to finish this black section. So yeah, I wasn't being a good wife then, but I finally got past the black section, and from this point on, I shouldn't have to use the black section anymore. It should go back into cranberry. But I love this section, even though it was in black, but I had never seen like a stitch pattern like this. I don't know if you all can actually see the stitch pattern. I had never seen it, and I was afraid because you have to drop some of your stitches. And I was like, I ain't finna mess up nothing after doing that Makariri shawl. I'm not finna mess up no more stitches, and this is intentional. And so you know, it's the woes of knitting. And when I saw it, it said drop the stitches off the needle. I was like, no, because I don't want to have to mess this up and redo and mess this up and redo. But it went smooth. I had no issues. I paid attention to the pattern. I followed it to the T, and I didn't even have to rip back. So yay me! Woo! But those are my objects that I have done. There was no sewing, no crochet, no spinning, no nothing else. Just those objects. I have some product review, I guess you would say. So I told you I went on Wish and ordered me a set of needles and some other items. And I don't know if you all use the app. It's a Wish app, and I don't want to sound like a commercial. I guess this sound like I am basically advertising, but they not paying me to say this. But I went on that website, or the app rather, on my phone, because it's on the phone. I did go on the computer, but it doesn't act as well on the computer. But ordered a few things, and I was pleased with some things, but I was disappointed with some things, because you have to be very careful when you order on Wish. It may be the item that you're looking for, but you have to be careful with sizing, lengths, as well as all around, because it's coming from overseas. And I think these items came from China. I want to say most of them did, but I know these knit needles came from China, because when the packaging came, I could not read anything that was on this package. Nothing. I don't understand that. I can't. It's nothing in English at all. I just understand 7 and the numbers. Sorry, that's my country coming out. But I couldn't even understand anything on there. And I was thinking of getting these with the long cable, and thinking that I had ordered the long cable. I didn't, because I didn't check, because everything is in centimeters and it's not in inches. So my brain was thinking inches when I saw the dimensions of the package on the app, and not thinking that it was not inches, it was centimeters. So instead of getting a 43-inch cable, I thought I was getting that, but I got a 43 centimeter cable. And basically this is just a perfect size for a hat, because I was getting them for socks. And it was actually a whole set of 18 needles. It started from the very smallest that didn't even have, like, you couldn't even gauge it because it was so little. I guess it'll be good for small socks. all the way up to a size 8, I believe. 8 or 9, something like that, 10 maybe. But the cable was kind of small and it was hard to knit on socks. But I want to say, guys, you know, out of all the knitting needles I have come across, I'm not saying, you know, there are not better needles out there, but the needles that this one, Tamika, has come across, Purplegeorgiaknit has come across, these are the smoothest needles that I have ever knitted with, because the cable, I don't know what kind of cable this is. It's like a metal cable. I don't know if it'll focus, but this metal cable is smooth. I thought my stuff would get hung up because I'm like, what the heck? This wire stuff, but it's very smooth. And this aluminum shaft, the needle points are not sharp. On the little ones, they are a little bit sharper. But these are dull points on the needles. And this is a smooth aluminum shaft. Even the join is not, it's kind of smooth. It's my stitches, you know, slide over. It doesn't really get stuck. So I'm very pleased with them, even though there wasn't the length that I wanted. But I was kind of disappointed when it came, because I was like, oh shoot, these are smaller than what I thought. And I got a whole stack of them. It came in a package with a rubber band around it. It was about that big, of, you know, needles that were fit like this. So I did go through and calling myself using my gauge thingy. I bought one of those to check the gauge of all of them, and I caught myself writing, this says US size 6 for 4mm needle. And then it comes with this, but this only tells you, it's like a gauge counter, I guess, a gauge thing, but it just tells you the numbers. Like the packaging have numbers, and it tells you which one corresponds with which one. So and it comes with the extra needle. I took it loose, so it comes with a needle, and a needle is stuck there, and it has the gauge thing that's right there in the actual needle. But I did say, you know, because at first I was upset, you know, you get mad, and I wasn't going to keep them. I was going to send it back because this is not what I wanted. But I gave it a chance. I'm pleased with it, and I do plan on going back out on Wish and ordering another set of those, because I like cable needles. I have tried the straights, I've tried DPNs, and I've tried cables, and I love the cable needle. For some reason, I just rather knit with a cable needle. But you know, you have some projects that are better on DPNs, some projects that are better on straights, and some projects that are better on cable. But my go-to is usually a cable needle, regardless. Kind of disappointed, but I became pleased with it, because these are my go-to when I knit hats. I wanted it for socks, but didn't work. I do think I'm gonna try to go back out there and get some more, because I had ordered some yarn. I do not have it with me, and I was disappointed because the picture of the yarn and what I got were two totally different things. And plus, it is in, excuse my dinosaur of an air conditioner. It blows and sounds loud, so maybe my loud speaking will be loud enough for you to hear me, but sorry for that. But my yarn that I ordered off of Wish, it didn't come in the right yarn, because the picture was totally different. And I would say sometimes you do have to pick and choose, because Wish has everything. And when I say everything, everything that I have looked up has been on Wish. Everything that I've wanted has been on Wish. Everything that I have come to mind that I would like, craft wise, clothes wise, household wise, for the kitchen, electronic wise, has been on that website or app. Guess I am pushing that app right now. It's a free app, and pretty much a lot of things are cheap. I think I've ordered these knitting needles. It cost me a total with shipping, I want to say $4. Yeah, I said 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I did that order, I did more than just that. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. 8. It was $8. There was something else for $4, but it was $8 for those different sets, and it went from the biggest thing size, I want to say 9, down to the littlest that you can ever see that I have never seen in my life. Like the US size 0, it went smaller than the 0. So I'm like, what millimeter is it? It's like really small. Maybe I'll show you all the sets. I had the intentions of doing it when I received it, because I ordered this about a year ago when I first started podcasting, and I didn't show it because I was kind of disappointed with it. But I use them. I use them a lot. Actually, it's added to my catalog of cable needles. So my next project, I was very disappointed when I got it because it was damaged. But I did ask for a return or ask for it to be taken back. Got no response. So that is the thing. You have to take your risk, I guess, basically sometimes with some of these people on Wish. I did get a few other items that I was pleased with. I do not have them with me, but this thing was damaged. I was upset because I could not contact anybody, and then when I finally contacted Wish about it, they said that I could get a refund. It was only $2 with shipping, so I just let it go. I was going to throw it away, but then me being, Tamika, use your resources, Purplegeorgiaknit, I decided to straighten it out. But I don't know if you can tell, but this is a sock loom. Oh, sorry, this is a sock loom, and on this side, all of the needles are good, but once you get to this side, they were bent, and this whole half side was bent in like this, and I was upset because I wanted to try this sock loom and try it. In the packaging, it wasn't in a box. They just basically shoved this down in one of those bubble mailer bags. There was no instructions, nothing in the bag, just these 2 items, and this was shoved in there. It had like plastic wrapped around it and shoved in the bag, and like I said, I guess in shipping, this whole half side was flattened. So I sat and took the time and straightened out the best that I could these needles that were bent, and now I'm looking for a pattern or instructions on how to use this. I have found one that looks similar, and it's called Prim. I think it's a Prim brand, Prym, and it had like there's a YouTube video on showing how to knit these, and basically there's little arrows here. I don't think it doesn't have numbers, do it? Yes, you can just barely see it because it is like flesh tone, but it has numbers and arrows. So you go around. It's like a regular loom, but it has the arrows to show you, like when you start to turn for your heel, and you go back and you like that, and then you go back around to do that, and you do the same for the toe on each side. And so I was going to throw this away, but me being me, I decided to see if I could straighten out the needles. I straightened them out to the best of my ability. Some of them are still wonky looking, like these few here and a few on this side, but I want to see if I can use it. I am getting the feel for sock knitting again, I guess because it's fall. Yes, it's fall, y'all. But excuse that. Oh man, I am feeling the embarrassment of saying that. Okay, but yes, it is now fall, and I guess I'm getting the feeling of baked cookies, hot drinks, teas, coffees, and sock knitting. I'm starting to get all those feels. I don't know if y'all do that, but I love to get a blanket, a nice hot cup of coffee, cup of tea, and get in a nice little area, maybe even cut on some music or the TV on low and just sock knit. So I want to try this out, see if it works. I'm going to find me some good old yarn, or it may even be my go-to favorite, some loops and thread Woolike, and I'm going to see what comes out of it. So stay tuned for that. But as of anything, that is all my mini product review on Wish. I would say all in all, if you're worried about cost of certain things, Wish has low prices on a lot of stuff. I found even the Yeti cups for a lot cheaper. They may be an off-brand. Sometimes you can get actual Yeti cups on Wish. But my husband bought me that cup that I showed you a couple videos back, that I'm going to put the Hello Kitty sticker on. I have yet to do it because I do not want to mess up that sticker, because my sister took her lovely time and effort and cutting out all those pieces and piecing it together and everything, and I don't want to mess it up. So I guess when the day comes that I finally put a sticker on it, I'll put it in video form so y'all can see it in its glory. But as a Wish, sorry, I get sidetracked a whole lot. But as a Wish, so far I like Wish. I still have the app. I have yet to order anything else on Wish, but this time all I can say is beware, buyer beware, because sometimes you may get damaged items, or you may not get the items that you're looking for. But with anything, you take a risk. But prices are a lot cheaper on Wish, so buyer beware. Like I said, I ordered a total of like 8 things for like $20, like $22. This was last year. And I'm not saying there's a wealth of knitting stuff. There's only a bit. It's not a huge amount. There's only a bit of knitting stuff that I've come across. Like they have bamboo knitting needles. They have the bamboo VPNs. They have the metal. You know, they have a lot of stitch markers, a lot of scissors, sewing notions, kits, stuff like that. But I would say with anything, beware. You know, you put your money out there. The only downfall I would say to ordering online on Wish is the shipping time, because it took literally, I would say, some things came in within 2 weeks, because I believe that the store, no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna take that, I take that back. It was like 3 weeks to like a month and a half for this stuff to come. It's coming from China, so that's the only downfall. It takes long to get this stuff. So if you want it immediately, do not order on Wish. Give it some time. Give it some time, because you know, I ordered from different shops and they staggered in. So Wish app, if you want to, I think it's on Google Play. That's where I downloaded, because I do have an Android phone. Check it out, because I know as a buyer to beware. You know, you be careful, but it's $1, $2. You know, with this it was only $2. I decided to just chuck it as a loss and move on. But you do have other sites and things like that. But if anybody has knowledge of this right here and actually has like instructions or any help with this right here, please tell me. I'm out there searching. There's very limited. Very limited. So check this out, and I'll get back with you all later. Love you guys. I hope everyone is safe. I hope that everyone is healthy. And I'm sorry I didn't ask in the beginning if everyone was okay from Hurricane Irma. My family, we didn't have any damage. We actually had lights, and I say we were very fortunate. So stay safe. Love your loved ones. Keep crafting. And I'll get back with you all later.